Hello there and welcome to episode number 2 of The Shape of the Top 6. I was meant to get this video out way earlier into the international break and I just didn't because I've just been getting over a bit of an illness and it really was a struggle to talk. It's a little bit of a struggle to talk right now, but I've got a bit more energy, so we're going to hopefully that'll mask over the struggle to talk anyway. So let's have a look at the top 6 right now. It is interesting viewing, and it's also interesting viewing for those that are outside the top 6 as well. We're going to focus on one particular team anyway, but the top 6 as it is right now from 6th to 1st is Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Leicester, Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool. Now, Liverpool are the only team with a 100% record with 8 wins from 8. Manchester City picked up their second loss of the season against Wolves, I think it was. Adama Traore turned in an absolutely brilliant performance at the end. Arsenal, I think they got a 1-0 win last time out. Leicester lost to Liverpool. Chelsea, can't remember what score theirs was, 4-1 or something like that. I can't remember who they were playing either. And Crystal Palace beat West Ham by VAR. That's the one. Now, those teams have done really, really well, to be fair. Obviously, Manchester City picking up their second loss, they won't be happy about that, and obviously Pep Guardiola won't be happy about that either. Leicester have been doing really well. Arsenal are picking up wins. You know, they're not doing too badly, to be fair. They might not be playing the most attractive football of all time right now, but they're third in the league. You can't argue with that. It's definite progress in some ways. Even so early on in the season, there's still 30 games to go. But that's still progress in my eyes anyway. Chelsea are doing well. They're in 5th position. I actually would have maybe tipped Chelsea to be one of those outside of the top 6 this season. But I think he's actually done a really good gamble with bringing in the youth players like a Tammy Abraham, Tomori, I think his name is, Mason Mount, to the point where their 50-odd million signing, Pulisic, can barely get a shot in the team. They're doing well. It can't be argued. They got 4 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses. They're doing well. You can't argue against their process that they're having to go through because of the transfer ban. And it kind of looks like, you know, it's, again, early on in the season, they're not necessarily feeling the effects of losing Eden Hazard just yet. And Crystal Palace are still well up there at the moment, and they're doing a good job. You know, they're winning games, winning more than they've lost anyway, which is a good thing for Crystal Palace at this time in the season. Following them, 7th Burnley, 8th West Ham, 9th Tottenham, who is probably going to be our focus today. Bournemouth in 10th, 11th Wolves, 12th Manchester United, and that's as far as I'm going to go because that covers teams that might have been, or you might expect to be in the top 6. Anyway, Manchester United was our focus last time. There's going to be a preview for the Liverpool versus Manchester United game, so I'm not going to focus on Manchester United this time. They are sat in 12th, and it's not looking great for them. But make sure to check out the Liverpool versus Manchester United preview, and I'll talk a lot more about Man United's situation in that video. Tottenham, 3 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. Their losses, I just want to get their fixtures up right now on my iPad. Now, their losses, if you'll just excuse me to take a little bit of a drink, if that's all right with you guys. Absolutely wonderful. Now, their losses have been against Leicester. Let's go back right to the start of the Premier League. They beat Aston Villa, drew with Man City, lost to Newcastle. They drew against Arsenal, beat Crystal Palace. Now, Premier League, next one. They got beat by Leicester 2-1. They then beat Southampton, and then they got beat in a miserable week. Honestly, terrible week for Tottenham. If you're a Tottenham fan, it was a terrible week. They got smacked 7-2 by Bayern Munich, and it was, you know, it was one of those where, obviously, if you're a Bayern Munich fan, all that sort of business, unbelievable performance. Really incredible performance by those guys. Serge Gnabry as well, the former Arsenal man, will have absolutely loved that. 7-2 in the Champions League. And Bayern were playing away from home. Tottenham were at home, and they got absolutely annihilated. This is a Tottenham team like that. If Bayern Munich had come up against this Tottenham team maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that result might not happen. You know, it might be a bit closer. And I'll go on to why I think that is in a couple of minutes. Then they're coming into the weekend, going against Brighton. They're away from home. It's maybe going to be a bit difficult, but it's Brighton at the end of the day. You're not going to be expecting Tottenham to lose that game. You'd expect them to maybe score a couple of goals. I want to just go into the match stats for this one here. Tottenham edged possession and free kicks and throw-ins. Everything else was Brighton. Tottenham had 5 shots, 3 on target. Brighton had 11 shots, 6 on target. They each had 4 corners. And it was just comprehensive from Brighton. It honest to God, it really, really was. Brighton got a goal within the 3rd minute of that game. And then come to the fore was this Aaron Connolly, I think young Irish lad. I don't know whether he's Northern Ireland or whether he's Republic of Ireland. We're not focusing on that. But this young lad comes in and he scored 2 brilliant goals as well. And Tottenham on the day, their starting lineup, you'd have maybe said that's a very, very strong lineup. Now, the first goal that Brighton scored, immediately Hugo Lloris had to get substituted off. Broke his arm in a horrific, or he either dislocated elbow or broke his elbow, whichever way, but he's done something horrific to it that I've only ever seen when I've watched MMA. You know, I'm not shocked when I watch MMA, but I was shocked when I saw that because it's football. These guys aren't fighters. You know, they're not trained to take that sort of pain. Seeing him screaming all that business on the sidelines, really not good viewing. But then you've got the likes of, all right, the substitute is made. So I think I actually don't know the name of their substitute goalkeeper. Gazaniga? I don't know how you say his second name. But he came on. Sissoko right back. What? Then you've got Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Ben Davies. Experienced, you'd expect them to do better than they did in this game. And Ndombele, new to the league, you'd still expect them to do better. Eric Dyer has been dire for a while. Eric Lamela, Christian Eriksen, Heung-min Son, or Son Heung-min, however you want to say his name, Harry Kane, an experienced front line with a distinct lack of pace. Now, they had pace on the bench in Lucas, I believe it was. Why isn't someone like that starting? Lucas is the same guy that got them through the Champions League semi-final, got them through to the final, didn't start because Harry Kane was fit. Now, in the Premier League right now, there is a place for someone like a Harry Kane. There is. Someone who's not got much pace, but he's got a belting shot, good weak foot. There is a place for him, but you need to be able to have the right people that provide for him. Having Lamela out on the right-hand side, Son, on the other side, he's got pace. He's got good pace, not blistering pace, but he's got good pace. You can't tell whether he's got a weak foot or not because he's very skilled on both foot. Brilliant, fantastic. Christian Eriksen doesn't want to be at the club, so he's playing, doesn't want to be there. That's the impression that I get anyway. You got Vertonghen, Alderweireld, those types of people. It's an ageing squad. This same squad, 8 players out of this squad played against Jurgen Klopp's first team against Liverpool, where we have 1 player, Jordan Henderson. There's no refresh for these guys. There is no refresh. Now, people will turn around and say, well, they'll have a better squad chemistry. They'll know each other better. Does it look like it at the moment? Or does it look like people that are maybe a little bit stale, a little bit stagnant, and a little bit lacking in creativity, thought, whatever? And that also comes from the manager, it comes from the owner for not actually providing for the team very, very well. But if they continue in this vein for the rest of the season, it's not going to end well. You could see both Manchester United and also Tottenham outside the top 6, something that you would not have been able to predict. Maybe Manchester United, yeah, you could predict that they would be outside the top 6 because of their recruitment. But Tottenham, because they're the media love boys, or love guys, whatever, because they are absolutely loved by the media, they don't really get a slating a great deal. They're still only coming in for minor criticism, in my opinion. Like Mauricio Pochettino, tactically looks out of his depth at the moment, and that is not something that you would have said maybe 12, 18 months ago. You just wouldn't. He's recently got them to a Champions League final. They got beat in that final by Liverpool, and since then it looks like they are literally having a Champions League final hangover, and one of the worst ones that they have. Absolutely, it's the worst hangover they've ever had. There needs to be, in my opinion, a change of system. You can't recruit anyone until January. This, whatever they're playing in midfield, like, it looks like it's set up like a 4-2-3-1 on here. But whether they actually played that formation, I don't know. 4-2-3-1 can be good, but it's defensively good first, attacking second. Change that system, get the pace on the wings, bring Lucas back in, and you'll see a change in Tottenham pretty quickly. Now, I don't necessarily want to see a change in Tottenham. I'm a Liverpool fan. But this is what I'm saying. This is what Tottenham need to do to get themselves out of ninth and get themselves back into the top six. Because their next fixture is against... their next fixture is against Watford. They should be looking to win that one. Their next Premier League fixture after that as well is against Liverpool at Anfield. And that's going to be a difficult game. Then it's Everton. And then it's Sheffield. There's no easy games in the Premier League anymore. There aren't any easy... No games that you can walk into and just say, we got that one, let's look at the other one. You cannot do that anymore in the Premier League. And if they don't fix something up quick, get a reaction, get some inspiration into the players, get them playing into form, it could go badly wrong for both Pochettino and Spurs as well. When they've got an ageing squad, a fair few players that don't want to be there, and an owner that doesn't necessarily spend the amount of money that you need in the Premier League these days. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below anyway. This is my thoughts on it. Let me know if you agree. What do you think Tottenham can do to get themselves out of this dire run that they're in right now? And will it end in Pochettino leaving? Will all these players leave? Will a refresh eventually happen there? Because some of these players are going to be available to leave on a free, which is ridiculous. So they're not going to make any money, and then they won't be able to reinvest. They've got a stadium to pay for. Are they going to have a worse run than Arsenal did when they moved to the Emirates? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.